Israel launching sweeping strikes against Iran.
The IDF has confirmed Israel has hit nuclear targets.
Explosions have been heard in the capital, Tehran.
Israel has launched what it calls a preemptive strike on Iran's nuclear facilities.
The tiny state of Israel is once again engaged in a battle for its very survival, or as some will perceive it, a massive act of aggression against a sovereign nation. Take a look.
Was there a just cause?
Why did you guys do it?
How is it preemptive? They don't explain why it was preemptive. They just say, yeah, but that's not preemptive. Preemptive isn't them first. That's dicey, right? That's dicey. Certainly America can't do that.
Is Israel just in pursuing its military operation against Iran?
The Israeli war of aggression against Iran has nothing to do with Iran's nuclear program.
This goes beyond, oh, we see Iran as a threat to our security.
Yes, Ali. Yes, Anna. This war has everything to do with Iran's nuclear program. Unfortunately, the Iranians, who are free-spirited, peace-loving people, were taken over by a fascist regime back in 1979. Since then, the Ayatollah has done everything in his power to sow death, destruction, and terror throughout the Middle East. Homosexuals are put to death. Women have fewer rights. But worst of all, the regime has the blood of millions on their hands. Through their sponsorship of terror throughout the region, Iran is responsible for the deaths of over 4,000 in Lebanon, 370,000 in the civil war that they sponsored in Yemen, 600,000 in the civil war that they sponsored in Syria, several thousand of their own citizens to whom they've meted out capital punishment. And then there is, of course, the age-old conflict between Hamas and Israel, one of which the Iranian regime is sponsoring for the sole purpose of committing acts of terror on Israel. So when a fascist regime that is already responsible for the deaths of millions in the region openly commits to our death, to our destruction, to our genocide, and is seeking to obtain nuclear weapons, we have a right, we have a duty, we have a responsibility to neutralize that threat. However, even those who support the downfall of a militant Islamist Iran still have qualms about this war.
But I can say concretely, here's where I stand and where the MAGA base stands. We do not want U.S. boots on the ground. We do not want American kinetic involvement. This is Israel's war.
Israel puts Israel first, as they should. I have no problem with that. But America's got to put America first.
And then what, Mick? What does the U.S. do on this? You got Huckabee in Jerusalem. What if they hit our embassy in Jerusalem?
My chief concern as an American is I don't want to get dragged into this regime change war, because some of the propaganda that's going to surround this program or this attack is that actually Israel is just standing up for all of civilization, and this isn't really just about an existential threat to Israel, it's about the whole world, and I don't totally buy that.
So the minute Iran hits a soft target, which is us, then Netanyahu's gonna go, ha ha ha, checkmate America. Now you're my again, now you fight my wars. And they'll probably even withdraw and say, America, you do our dirty work for us.
What a liability that country is to the United States of America. Total liability, not an ally. Disgusting. So congratulations, America. We have now entered another Middle Eastern war on behalf of Israel. Congratulations.
A liability, Anna? Really? How about a thank you for us doing your dirty work for you? Anybody who tries to tell you that preventing a fascist regime from obtaining nuclear capability is Israel's interest and Israel's interest alone is forgetting their history. Among the more nefarious regimes in the world sits the regime of North Korea, who is responsible not only for many deaths of their own people, but also for the stealing of billions of dollars from the United States and from the West. Today, North Korea thrives primarily on money that it steals from us through their infamous Lazarus Group. There's Operation Troy in 2009, Operation One Mission in 2013, there was the Sony breach in 2014, the Bangladesh heist in 2016, the major cryptocurrency attack in 2017, and many, many more the years that followed, none of which we can prevent or prosecute under threat of nuclear war. So to say that the United States has no interest in preventing a fascist regime from obtaining nuclear weapons? Charlie, Michael, Anna, which world exactly do you live in?
Must attack a country, especially in the Middle East, if they're going to develop nuclear weapons. Under that ideology, we would have wiped out Israel. It's that they don't want to lose leverage. If anyone else has nukes in the Middle East, then Israel is constrained. They don't want to be constrained. They want to attack Syria, they want to attack Lebanon, they want to keep Gaza and the West Bank, they want to attack Iran, and they don't want to be constrained.
The hawks within Iran's establishment are now going to be saying, we told you so, we were right, they were going to attack us. The best deterrent to stop further attacks like this from Israel is go for the bomb.
Semi-regularly, Israel attacks Iran. And from their perspective, it's totally justified. But from the Iranian point of view, they desperately need a deterrent.
Iran has no intention of attack Israel. It was not necessary for Israel to use force.
But here it appears that we've arrived at the crux of the problem. There are those who look at fascist Iran and see in it a country like any other, a country with aspirations of peace, of a stable economy, of sovereignty within its own borders. But then there are those who can see the devil for what it is. A regime that sows terror and evil, not only within its own borders, but throughout the region. A regime that seeks nuclear weaponry not as a deterrent against the big bad Israel, but as a means with which to continue to sponsor terror and to continue to spread its fundamentalist Islamist views to the rest of the world. And so as the Middle East is reshaped and the destiny of the region hangs in the balance, I invite you to join me and take a stand. Will you stand with fascism, violation of human rights, homophobia, anti-Semitism, terror, and civil war? Or will you stand with me for democracy, equality, human rights, and peace for all who want it? It was British Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain who back in 1940, who felt that the path forward when dealing with authoritarian colonialism was to give the devil his due and an off-ramp towards peace. But Hitler never wanted an off-ramp. Hitler never wanted peace. He never wanted prosperity. He wanted to continue to conquer the world until it was all under the influence of himself and his Nazi movement. Is there a parallel to 2025? I don't know, but I do believe that actions speak louder than words. And when a state has repeatedly sponsored terror abroad, has repeatedly funded civil wars in other countries, has claimed that Israel is the little Satan and that America is the large Satan, and actively seeks to wipe both off the face of the map, then I would say, yes, perhaps there is an argument to take them at face value, to see what they've done, to see what they aspired to do, and to take action before it is once again too late. We will continue to fight for freedom and peace and democracy. We will proudly continue to fight your war. We ask but one thing: please stand with Israel today.